Hi, I'm Natalie Adi, and I'm going to give you a little brief explanation about the 20 solar kins or signs in the Mayan calendar. So it's really important to remember that the Mayas understood the concept of zero. So before anything, there's always a zero, there's always a starting point and a void. So this is very important. And the number zero in the Mayan calendar represents also the same number as 20. Numerically, it's the same number, and it is written as a shell. So this is because the shell, if you look at it, the conch, if you look at it, it has like a spiral in the middle, right? And so they understood that everything is cyclical and goes in circles, but it's not two-dimensional. It doesn't come to the same point. It always goes to a higher octave because we are always in a process of evolution, and also the cycles of the planets and the stars and the solar system is moving in cycles, but it's traveling through space. It's not stagnant and staying in the same position, just going round and round in circles without getting anywhere. So this is a very important point to begin with. And the solar sign that has this number, which is number 0 or 20, is the sun, because the Mayas understood that to have life on earth, for there to exist anything on earth, first of all, we need the sun. And so the sun is really the emblem of that supreme, superior, unconditional, otherworldly, vast, omnipotent, trustworthy love or light or information or clarity, which are all synonyms of each other. And as the sun comes up for us every day, whether we believe in it or not, whether we want it or not, it does. And that's why we have life on earth. So that's 0. And then number 1 is dragon. And really, dragon is just the new age term for it, but really the Mayan sign is Imish, which is the beginning of creation. And so thanks to the sun, which is 0, there is creation, there is life, there is the starting of energies, the starting of stories. The symbol itself, I'll put it here in the corner, is the sun at the very top and the seeds or the germs sprouting, germinating out of the earth. And that represents life, new beginnings, new creations, whether it's a new friendship, a new way of thinking, a new phase in your life, even though you didn't change jobs or houses, but a new phase inside of yourself. Or maybe you did change, something exterior, but more than anything, something that is representing a new beginning. And it's also the nurturing, like the mother nurtures the child, gives life, but it nurtures it too until it's ready to take off. So that is Imish. And the next sign is wind. It's called wind because the Mayan way to describe that symbol that it has, it's like a T shape. It's really to represent the passage of air through. It's like a window. The Mayan temples in the pyramids have these shaped windows and doorways, and it's really like a passage through which the people in the doorways or the air in the windows pass through. And also so it's said that sometimes the shamans used to transfigure and like dematerialize and pass through those windows passages to get in and out of the temple while they were doing their spiritual work with the people in the temple. So really it is as if, the seeds or the germs in the previous sign, have a wind that like now carries them away, and that represents expression, communication, the clear transmission of like the most pure, essential message that wants to be delivered. It's like the seed that goes from one place to another, or like the seed that is within my own heart, and it's like wanting to be transmitted to your heart. So it's not just to talk at you, but it's to really drop into my own heart and feelings, and really see what is it that I truly want to say, and then like choose my tone, my words, my message very adequately, very precisely, and convey it with that pure essence. And that way I am making sure the most that I can that it will arrive to its destination in the most appropriate manner. So it's really, that's what wind represents. It's like the communication, the clear transmission and expression of ideas, of who we are. And so not only with our words, but a lot of them happen with our words, of course. And then what happens is that after these like seeds get blown with the wind into this new faraway land, and are there landing in a new environment, night falls, and the next sign is there for night and Akbal. And so in the period of nighttime, what happens is that we don't see anything anymore. The light has gone, and now we are left to imagine, to recreate in our mind, to use our intuition, our memory. Like, was there a tree there, or that looks like a tree? Like, I can't see it, but so it's really not anymore using the clarity of the sunlight and assurance to know what's happening. It's really understanding with our mind, our intuition. It has a lot to do with introspection, as like when night falls, you go within before sleeping, you look within, you're by yourself in silence, almost falling asleep, and you have this moment to yourself to really look inside and discover how do I feel about what happened today, or what are my dreams? What do I dream of? What are my deepest desires and my deepest longings? And as I go off into the dream world, where then I actually dream, my subconscious mind gives me images that I dream about. It's that game between the conscious mind and the subconscious mind, the active daydreaming and imagining the reality that I would love to live, for example. And then that gets transferred, of course, into the subconscious mind, which then gives you dreams. And so all that mixture between day and light, and twilight and dawn, and nighttime getting into daytime, getting into night, and vice versa, and then the waking up process and the going to sleep process, and all that happens in the mind in that moment. It's a very individualistic process, because even if you're sleeping with somebody next to you, that what goes on in our minds is really private, and it's individual. And so nighttime is really, or the sign night is really about how well do we know ourselves in order to dream up the reality that we ourselves want to dream, not somebody else's dream, or do what I'm told, or follow somebody else's idea of success or a happy life. But how well do I know myself to actually discover what I want? And so that's what night is. And then after that process of the night and chewing that information comes the seed. And the seed is really about, okay, now I know what I want, and now I know where to plant the seed, when, in what soil, in what time of the day, what time of the year, what's my plan. So it's a lot about strategy and plan, and carefully planning, and planting and watering and caring and protecting and giving everything that it needs in order for that to become reality. And so that's the basic information or understanding about seed. It's like a planning, it has vision, it has patience, because sometimes seeds take a lifetime to give fruit, and to reach adulthood, and some plants take 20 years, or 5 years. And so but if you keep the vision in your scope, and you water it every day, and you are always giving it what it needs, more than likely in time that seed will become its full potential, right? The one you envisioned for it. So yeah, so that's how it all flows in from one to the other. And so the next one, number 5, is serpent, Kan. And so the next one is serpent, Chichan, which is representing the vital force. Why? Because, okay, what does a seed need in order to survive? It needs the basic vital force energy that comes in the sun, the water, the earth, and the air. And without one of these, the seed will not make it. And so the same way that the seed needs those basic vital force energies in order for it to thrive and to survive, the same way we also need some vital energy, some vital things for us to survive. And I'm not talking about, serpent isn't only talking about, okay, you're existing, you're surviving, you eat enough food in order to survive, and you have a job in order to pay your rent, and you're surviving. That's maybe the most primitive aspect of it. But it also means, like, what do I need to feel alive? Not only to be breathing and to go to work and live my life, but to really feel alive, to feel the pulse of the serpent. The serpent, as we know, slithers on the ground, and it feels all the vibrations that come from the ground, and that's how it knows where to move, where to go. It doesn't see much, it doesn't have a lot of view, but it feels everything in its core. And that's why we have what we call like the reptilian brain, which is the instinctive, primitive feelings for survival and for it's the gut feelings that, like, I don't know why, but no, the answer is no. And if I follow these feelings in time, I will probably understand why they came, or yes or no. But it's really about feeling the vibration of the passion of life, to be somebody that is following, like we say, the path of the heart or the path of the serpent, which means that it's moving you, it's like invigorating you, and you're not just, yeah, fine, whatever, it's really getting within your blood, and it's like, yeah, let's go, every day is like a new day, amazing, like something that really makes you vibrate and turns your spirit on, so that's serpent. And for some it can be, for everyone we need food and clothing and a place to sleep, but for everyone it's different. Some people need liberty, freedom, or to be alone, or painting, or yoga, or friendship, or singing, or traveling, whatever. So it's really to find that force in you and what makes you come alive, and to know how to follow that. So number 6 is the world bridger, and that represents with every vital force comes, with all life death comes along hand in hand. And so it really represents like the bridge between life and death, or the bridge which connects two opposite spheres or worlds. So, for example, life and death, or, one relation and another, or one phase in your life and another, or, one mother, your father and your mother that maybe are from different backgrounds, or, countries, or mentalities, or, or your work and your work life and your everyday life, your out of work life. Maybe there's two different things, or it can mean many, many things, but it's really the bridge that is that bridges the two worlds. It's not the world that's ending, or the phase that's ending, or that's dying, so to speak, but neither is it the one that's beginning. It's the bridge between the two. And being on the bridge between the two, one gathers an understanding, a deeper understanding of like what's ending and why, what happened for it to be coming to an end. And so therefore it gives you a very good sense of, okay, the next phase, maybe not make those mistakes, or maybe let's do things differently, or so that's the world bridger. In a nutshell, of course. All of them, I'm trying to put them in a nutshell. So hand is the next sign, and the color is blue as well. And so the next sign is hand, and the hand, it represents the hand of the healer, the shaman. And that's because between the cycle of life and death, sometimes right in the middle, it only needs the hand of somebody who knows how to identify where there's an energy that's being stuck and that's contributing to ending somebody's life because they're sick, and if somebody doesn't come to heal them energetically properly, like even a doctor, then they will die. But many times when a healer comes in, or let's say a doctor, but let's say a shaman, a healer comes in and is like, oh, this person has really blocked energy, for example, in his stomach. Okay, let me do something about it, and puts his hand on the person to allow the energy to flow, and therefore sometimes can even save his life. So the hand is really that energy that is about action, about knowing how to identify where the stuck energy is, in what place is it. It's manifesting here, but where's the origin of it? And to know what to do and to do it in order for the energy to flow again. So that might mean anything, like a conversation, putting in order your financial books, taxes and all that, or just cleaning your house, or going to lunch with somebody that will improve the relationship with that person, and therefore all other problems around that will get solved. So anything that needs to be done in order for the energy to flow again correctly and smoothly, do it. That's the sign of hand, action, and identification, and really healing. We don't need to be healers in order to be a healing force in our lives and the lives of others, right? I'm sure everybody already knows what I'm talking about. So the next sign is star. Lamat, estrella. And that is because when we get healed, we shine like a star. And so the star energy really is representing like the reflection of the sun. When we see a star at night, we see it shining because it's reflecting the light of the sun. And we see it like beautiful, like, oh, so inspiring and so luminous, and so we even inspire. We breathe in air, and that fills us with hope and spirit, and that's why it's called inspiration. And so the same way that we see the stars and they inspire us, star energy is also about learning to be the star, to learning to reflect the light and to shine back light and luminosity, and to be comfortable with doing that which makes you shine, not in the egotistical sense of the word. It's in a completely positive light as well. So more like, shine so that others may be inspired to shine their own light too. Also, don't be afraid of shining your own light. And that can be represented in many things. It doesn't need to be, oh, I have to be the beauty queen and operate everything. It's like, no, not necessarily. It just means when somebody's happy from within, they glow, right? And when one feels miserable from within, it shows as well. So really, if something is not allowing you to shine that light, that means you're probably not very aligned with the star energy. So find what makes you shine, find what makes you luminous and bright, and shine that happiness, that force, from within out, and reflect the light of the sun back to everyone. And that is more or less what this, of course, it's also some keywords are like art and elegance and beauty. And like I said, it's not in the vain sense of the word beauty, but when you draw a painting, or when you clean your house, or you paint your house, you want to see it, that in your eyes it looks perfect, it looks beautiful. Whether some other people like it or not, that's, everyone is entitled to their own opinions, but the important thing is that to your eyes it shines, it's perfect. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So really, to behold that beauty in all things, in your own life, in every detail, in yourself, in your actions, in your words, and how you cook, and how you eat, and how you live your life, so that you can be shining like the star. The next sign then is Moon and Muluk. And Moon comes to remind us that, everything has its flow and ebb and change and waves. And so Moon represents the moon, who has a great impact on the waters, the tidal, waves. And so that process of letting go of things, and then attracting and repelling, and attracting and repelling, like the tide of the sea. And so what do I need more in my life, and what do I don't need anymore in my life, and now what do I need more in my life, and now what do I need to let go of and release in my life. And all of those, all that process is a process of constant change and purification. Water represents purification, cleanliness, new cycles. Like, you're dirty, you don't feel good, you go into the water, and you are renewed, you get baptized, you can renovate after the water. So really, it's a moon is the symbolism of like the constant flow of change and purification that goes on all the time in your life. There are sometimes subtle changes every day. It changes a little bit, because the moon, you see it a little bit full, a little less full, until it's half, and then but if you don't look at it for a few days, and then all of a sudden you see the moon, it's like, wow, it's full. I last time I saw it, it was just a new moon. How did But those are the subtle changes, but constant, that shape life. That's life. Life is like that, and we are like that. And so to be in alignment with the moon, honors those changes. And so the moon is the opposite of the storm. The storm is like a huge radical change, but the moon is a very constant, maybe more subtle change. So both are very different, but they're complementary in that they are both linked to transformation and change and purification. So, okay, the next sign, now we're on number 10. We're in the middle of the wave spell. Of the solar signs. The number 10 is dog, ok. And dog we all know dogs to be the best friend of man. So that relationship is a very important one to humans, to human life, to understanding the earthly, the worldly way that we understand love. So the opposite of the dog is sun. So like I said, number 0 is sun. It's supreme, universal, unconditional shining of the light, love, no matter what. And dog is very similar, but it's more terrestrial. So if we would imagine, and if we would like think of the Mayas living in the jungle that had, they would put some food, some bones, some leftovers of their, food, of their meals out for the dogs to feed on. And then those dogs, wilder dogs, not so domesticated in an apartment, little chihuahua with frou-frou sweater dogs, but like, canine dogs, would, eat leftovers and then would stick around to protect that household or that person, that family that would feed them. And, if there would be a jaguar or puma coming in at night from the jungle, the dog would bark, and therefore there is a symbiotic relationship between he who nourishes the dog and the dog who protects the family, right? So the sign dog is really about protection and family and tribe and mutual agreement and mutual nourishment. So the dog maybe doesn't nourish the family, but he protects him, but it's because the family nourishes the dog. If the dog would one day not get nourished by the family, probably he would look for another family that does feed him to go and protect him, So so the sign dog is really about like understanding in our lives who do we devote our lives to? Who do we give all of our protection and energy and love and fidelity and loyalty to? Maybe not whom, maybe what. Maybe it's our job. Maybe it's an ideology or a philosophy. Okay, and so, or maybe it's a relationship, some kind of relationship, family relationship. So, but does that family or job or ideology, does it nourish me the way that I need to be nourished? Maybe for a time, yes, but maybe for a time, no. And that's the inner questioning that one has to do in the sign of dog. Like, who do I serve? Does it serve me too? Does what I serve me equally? Okay, if yes, fine, but if not, well, that's something to look at in the dog sign. And so the next sign, number 11, is monkey. And monkey is representing a very playful, light-spirited sign, because the monkey comes before human. The next one is human. So monkey is still natural. It's still part of the natural world. It's like we were be talking about the inner child. The inner child, the children, are also still part of a natural world. They haven't yet developed the humanness, the human aspect that we human as adults develop. So it's really about living the present moment, not being too resentful on things from the past or the future, like learning to expressing naturally. If I'm angry, I'm angry. If I'm happy, I'm happy. But I can switch from one second to the next emotions. I don't stick in them. I don't stay in them. They'll be very spontaneous, very natural, very straightforward. And this is an ability that we lose sometimes as adults. And it's very important to remember how to be as children, like in awe and in surprise of life, to be really astonished and taken aback by just any small thing, flower, bee, butterfly that we come across, like And also the magic of learning to let go of things. So if I was very upset then 1 minute ago and somebody comes and offers me like a little flower, to not hold a grudge, to be like, okay, it can pass, this too shall pass. You know, this famous saying of that nothing is permanent, it's the impermanence of life, and to really live the present moment and to really focus on that lightness of existence, because they don't have a notion like we do. So that's monkey. And human, because we have a notion and because we now understand and analyze and can think for ourselves and are aware that we are thinking for ourselves, we think, therefore we are, and we have this thing called free will, and solar plexus who decides, and there's this thing called I, me, myself, and I. That's human, and really it represents the ability to analyze and make choices, and the ability to distinguish one choice from another, and why that choosing one from another makes me who I am, and you who you are, and they who they are. And we are all individuals, we are all humans, we are all equal in one sense, but we are all fractalized and very unique beings that will never be repeated. There will never be another me, another you, never. And so that whole process of being human and thinking and going through past lessons and mistakes and understandings and developing a whole way in the mind that makes me very conscious of what I choose and what I don't choose, and hopefully each time more and more conscious and all of that. That's human. So it's a lot about who am I, why am I the way I am, what do I want, why do I want it, and what am I going to decide? What am I going to choose? So that's human. And so the next one is Skywalker. And Skywalker is a interesting sign because it is the explorer. So human is also the opposite of wind, so communication. And it goes hand in hand, they are opposite complementary, because if I choose my life, make my choices in life, it's all fine and good, but then I need clear communication in order to explain to others why I'm choosing what I'm choosing, and for there to be an understanding, and for that other human being to really connect with my human being, why I'm making these choices. Maybe they don't like it, maybe they will, but if I'm able to communicate clear enough to them, I am sure there will be empathy. So these two go hand in hand, they are opposite complementary. So the next one is Skywalker. And Skywalker is the explorer. Is the opposite of night. Night was the introspection, exploring yourself inside you, getting to know yourself better through your dreams, through your longings. Now Skywalker is the opposite, which is exploring. And it comes after human because human probably decided to do something, and now the Skywalker has to go and actually do it. And by doing it, it explores a new adventure. Whatever it is that the human wanted to do, it's one thing to say, yes, I want to do this, but then it's another thing to go do it, right? So Skywalker, the sign itself is, you can see it, I'm going to put it up here somewhere. The Skywalker is related to unattached exploration. So there is a horizon line, and there's like, it's not touching the horizon. So that's, if one is too attached with what they explore, they probably won't keep exploring because they like what they like it, and so they're going to stay there, right? But the whole essence and nature of Skywalker is precisely the unattached explorer that can just get up and leave. And so that in essence is the nature of an explorer. That's why he always explores. And so it doesn't matter if it doesn't have to be a trip to another country, explore the world, but it can be exploring a book, exploring a new philosophy, exploring a new way of doing things, a new habit, a new person. They open up a whole new world for us too. So that's Skywalker, the unattached exploration. The next sign is Wizard. And Wizard is, the more you explore, the more you learn, and the more you understand things, and therefore the more you know how to use all of this information to obtain a certain outcome, something that you want. You can manipulate, in the good sense of the word. You can maneuver and move around the energies of everything that you know now and explored now already, to fit and to suit what you think is best. So the difference between, for example, somebody that travels the world, travels a lot, learns new things, reads new books, meets new people, talks to strangers, has been in situations, and then somebody from a small town who maybe has never traveled at all. And so, of course, if you put the two together, the one who has traveled a lot will look like a wizard to the one who hasn't traveled at all, because the one was, how did you know that? Wow, where did you, It's like, yeah, well, I know all that, but because I also explored it. And so it's not magic like, optical illusion. It's not magic in the sense of the mystical sense. It's really mastery over something that has been explored to a great length, right? That's wizardry. So the next sign is Eagle. And Eagle is the sign that, of course, we know eagles fly the highest, and they can see with an eagle eye, the bird view, in detail so much from so far. They can spot a rabbit, jumping around in the field, and they are like kilometers up high in the sky, but they see it so clearly. They can remove themselves and see from afar what is going on. And so it's really related to the way that we can take some space from a situation, get perspective, have vision, even have a vision that is visionary. Like, it might not be now, but we see that the tendency is such that if that continues, the future will most likely, the tendency will be that. So we have a visionary vision because we see clearly. That's with the eagle. And so this is what it represents. Take yourself. The eagle is the opposite of the serpent. And I forgot to mention that the wizard is the opposite of the seed. And that's because the seed, you will have to plan carefully for it to grow. But then the wizard can just one day, with a hailstorm or hurricane or something, just remove all your crop and plant you new trees that you never even planted. So it's the two opposite sides of the same coin, right? So eagle is the opposite of the serpent because the serpent doesn't see anything and it feels everything. Well, the eagle doesn't feel it, but it sees it. So in order for one to get most perspective, one has to have a fine balance between seeing, far removed and like coldly seeing things with perspective and clarity and the patterns that are, more clear when you withdraw, or not seeing but feeling. So it's the balance between those two that allow us to make healthier decisions. So yeah. Then we have the warrior. And the warrior is when you see, as an eagle does from up above, the rabbit, the eagle goes like an arrow to get the rabbit. And that way that he dives in, that's the energy of the warrior. A warrior knows exactly what he's fighting for. He has a very clear idea in his mind about who he's protecting, why he's fighting. He has infinite energy to give, and he is ready to give his life. That's why it is the opposite of the world bridger, which is, the transition between life and death. The warrior is so committed to what he's doing and who he's fighting for that he could even give his own life to protect that. And so it's an energy that will never stop, never get tired, never give up, never, sleep off guard, never be off guard. It will always keep himself trained and strong and, until his mission is accomplished, even if it's with his own death. But hopefully it's not with his own death, but he will. That's the endless power and commitment of the warrior. That's warrior energy in the Mayan calendar. The next one is Earth, Tierra. And that sign is really representing all the synchronicities that exist in such a vast Earth that looks to be so full of differences and different bioregions and different languages and different people and different races and different climates and different mountains and deserts and forests and swamps and beaches and Caribbean and Pacific and Atlantic and islands. And it looks so different. It looks so varied and so immense and so huge. And so one thing isn't maybe so connected to the other. What do the people in the Himalayan mountains have to do with the Africans in the bush, But yet it does. It does, and everything is connected because it's one Earth, it's one sphere, it's one planet where everything is connected, and that is the wisdom and of synchronicity. So the wisdom of Earth is to know that even though it's not clear in this moment, everything happens for a reason. There is synchronicity in all things, even though it appears to be bad timing, not synchronized, just missed it. Those things that happen in life where we're like, oh, bad luck, It's it looks like that way, but there is a synchronicity and there is a perfection inherent in all things, and that's the wisdom of Earth. When you look again really to the people of the Earth, like everyone eats the same, cries the same, sleeps the same. Yeah, if it rains here, it floods there, so it's really all connected, and that's the wisdom of this sign of Earth. And then we go to the sign Mirror. Mirror is what you find when you look at the people from the different parts of the Earth and you actually see them as the same as you, even though you don't speak their language, but they're the same like you. Why? Because you see the mirror in them. They see the mirror in you, you see the mirror in them. So the mirror really represents what, the eternal reflection. It's the opposite. Oh, well, first of all, Earth is the opposite of hand, which is the doer. So you do, and even though you did everything you possibly could in order to achieve something, maybe it didn't work out the way you wanted. And it looks not synchronic, but it is. That's the key, right? So anyway, that's why it's opposite complementary. And then mirror is the opposite of star. They are both both symmetrical in the way that their kin is shaped. And the star reflects the light of the sun, but the mirror reflects everything. And so it's like a mirror of the lake of water, it's like a mirror that reflects the stars, the mountains, the sun. And but it's not necessarily the mountain or the sun or the stars or the trees or the clouds that it's reflecting. It's water. It's not reflecting itself, but it's reflecting everything. And so there's always this fine line between what I see outside must be what I have inside, or is it am I projecting myself onto what I see outside, or how much is what I see outside its own thing, and then how I take it is my own thing. And this eternal dance and play, if you put two mirrors together, it's infinite. So I mean, it's an infinite process to think about mirror. But when you do that long enough, mirror, you see yourself in everything, and you see everything in yourself. And that's when you understand others by understanding more yourself. And the more you understand yourself, the more you understand others, and vice versa. It goes on and on. And that's why it leads to the next sign, which is storm. Because if you don't like something that you see outside, more than likely, the change that you would like to see outside, first of all, has to happen inside. It's very hard to change the outside. It's easier to change the inside. And the inside is really all what we're responsible for. It's our own life, our own way of thinking, our own way of, perceiving. And so that's the only thing we can really work on and change. And when we do that, that creates... that's the process of the next sign, which is storm. The storm, the catalyzation, the change, the disruption, the complete destruction sometimes of a place. That's the only way to do it, but it's the only way to do it inside, first of all. Once we see the mirror and the reflection and our own reflection in all things, then it's like, oh, that person, may or may not change. But if I want to change the way I see it, then I need to change. And so that's when the storm occurs, within. And the storm represents all of this change and cataclysmic, purging and everything. But it's really the hot and the cold winds coming together and moving around, like they clash, and the faster they go, the faster the stronger the storm or the hurricane is. And it can destroy everything around for kilometers and kilometers, but the eye is always calm, and the stronger the storm, the calmer the eye. And so that's how we can be. We can know that, okay, a storm is happening inside of us, and most likely the outcome of that is that some things will change on the outside of us. And even though that things are moving outside of us, and there's this whole thing going on outside in our lives with all the changes, we ourselves can, if we wanted to, try to remain a calm center in the eye of the storm. It's not always easy. Sometimes we don't do it, and we get caught up in the storm, which is fine too. But that's part of the sign of the storm. And the storm is the opposite, like I said, of the moon, which is also subtle changes. So, and after that storm, which is important for one's own evolution, comes the sun. And there we go, all over again. after the storm comes the sun, to soothe and to calm and to illuminate and to start over, and it's 0 again. So I hope that you liked it. I hope it wasn't too long, and there will be another video of the 13 lunar tones. Thank you.